Good evening, everybody. Um, Let me start by putting this up. Let's see. This is day 900. I wonder if you can hear me. Let's see. If it's really quiet, let me know. I'm trying to make sure. Okay. Wow. Wow. 929 days since Richard vanished from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And yeah, let me know if you can hear me because I've been having trouble with the mic settings and I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But and this is so important. This is so important. I did not watch yet the State of the Union address. I did not watch it. But I did see this, and because I understand the State of the Union, I know it because of what's going on in Richard's case. 929 days today since Richard has been missing from the barracks there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas. And he didn't just go missing. Something happened, and it's been happening. It's been happening for a long time. And Rob retired in 2006. We knew things were happening then. And so when Richard wanted to join the military in 2018, so you're talking about 12 years later, I told him not to do it. Rob told him not to do it. Don't do it. Our military is not what you think. And of course, when you're 18 years old, he just said, it'll be okay. I'll be in for a few years. I'll learn a few things. I'll serve my country. They're offering $25,000 enlistment bonus. And, it'll be okay. It's just for a few years. Well, it hasn't been okay, has it? It hasn't been okay for many, many, like Richard, that think they can go in just for a few years and it'll be okay. It wasn't okay for Asia Graham. It wasn't okay for Enrique Roman Martinez. It wasn't okay for Austin Hawke. It wasn't okay for Caleb Smither. It wasn't okay for Vanessa Guillen. It wasn't okay for Elder Fernandez. It wasn't okay for Gregory Morales. And I can go on. I can keep going on with so many names. And I believe the ones that I mentioned would all still be alive if they would never have joined the military. Um, how many of you agree with me on that one? Definitely, definitely. So, Richard, beautiful, beautiful young man, vim and vigor, um, top, top of, well, maybe with, it's always said that females, they're, they reach their ultimate beauty around 18, 20 years old, and men like around 30, 35. So, he was just beginning and he was aspiring, and he wrote a letter to his grandparents from basic training because he was the distinguished honor graduate for his cycle in basic training and AIT, like Austin Hawke. Okay. And they wanted to serve the United States. Richard in no way thought that the military was perfect, okay? Thought that life was perfect, thought any organization was perfect. Um, he absolutely was taught that, in everything, um, there are problems. Everything. And what are you supposed to do? You see how you can help. You try to make the world a better place. My husband every day asks, what have you done for the glory of God today? What have you done for the glory of God today? That was it, because we live in a world that has problems. Okay, it's in Christian terms, it's a fallen world. Every sector, every facet of it is fallen. And so you have to restrain it, you have to renew it, you have to retrench it, you have to rebuild it, you have to make it a better place. And for centuries, people were doing that. They knew that it was a fallible world, but they didn't think that they would go to heaven on flowery beds of ease. They did something about it. They they did that selfless service, right? They did the selfless service thing. They did their duty. They did honor, integrity. That's why we have that. That's why we have loyalty and respect and integrity and duty and honor and selfless service and uh, all of those virtues that were put up on walls and homes, along with the Ten Commandments, because we knew we lived in a world that needed it, that had fallacies. And now, I think we just took advantage of that, and we just felt like the red carpet had to be rolled out for us, and we don't have to be responsible. We don't have to have integrity. We don't have to have honor and loyalty and duty. Matter of fact, I told Jay Paulin, who was Richard's first sergeant, I told him, your talking is doing violence. Your messaging is doing violence. Okay? It's not making the world a better place. It's being selfish. In my opinion, what he was doing was arrogant and selfish and up to no good. Up to no good, which is why we are here. Why we're in this position. Because 929 days, we have everything. We've had everything for a while now. We even have, it's so bold that names get dropped. Names of so-and-so murdered Richard. Can you believe that? In our conversations, we have so-and-so murdered Richard. That's the information that we have. Now, we don't release that because we need the law enforcement agencies to do that, right? We need the law enforcement agencies to do their duty. We need Quantico. We need Director Ford. We need the 44 four-star generals. Look at them sitting there. I didn't make this. Okay, I didn't make this. This is someone else's artwork, and this is such. It's so sad. You can't even call it a disgrace because it's true. There's so much truth in this. Now, do they belong to the doggy rearing puppies, or being reared porn cult that's in the military? That is in the military. Have they showed their erection publicly in their uniforms, in the gym, on our installations, in our uniforms, in our buildings? Have they done that? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't create this picture. Okay? Someone else did. I don't know who. I don't know who. Because people are that have long respected our 4-star billets. That means our 4-star generals and admirals. Know it. It's not me. If I get it, I'm just a little person. I'm a lightweight. And, I've been told, Pat, don't say that. Don't say that. Look, I'm a mama. And I don't have big connections. I don't have a fancy education. I have, this experience with my son. That's what I have. And when you put 2 and 2 together, when you dissect the information coming in, when you dissect the response from the military, from CID, from Special Agent Soto, from the report that Judge Rodriguez put in to the authorities about Special Agent Tavita Nusa in the CID, right there at Fort Bliss, to Leilani Hart. When you dissect the father-in-law of Lieutenant Colonel Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM, which is Richard's command, when you dissect it, when you dissect Anthony Swafford, a military police soldier right there at Fort Bliss in El Paso, Texas, and his responses, when you dissect the paralegal soldier that was screaming out at us, and we went to find out what he knew, and he's just shaking like this crazy. When you dissect Elder Fernandez's case, when you dissect Enrique Roman Martinez's case, when you dissect Vanessa Guillen's case, when you dissect Caleb Smithers' case, when you dissect Austin Hawk's case, when you look at the responses from people that dealt with Richard during this whole time, and you dissect what Richard has put out there in video form and audio form, when you do all that, you come to one conclusion. Our 44 4-star general and admirals, those 44 4-star billets, they are enemies. They are treasonous. They are traitors. They are so evil. They have committed crimes against humanity. They have supported the porn cult, which means they support the child sex trafficking. They have supported the war machine when there's no reason to support the war machine because there's no threat. They have not trained. Look at, we had a balloon overhead. I believe, this is my opinion on that balloon. My opinion of the balloon is that, let me see if I have a picture. Yeah, I made this balloon. Okay, so my opinion of the balloon is that it's a satellite, a satelloon. If you do any kind of research, you will understand that that's our satellites. Our satellites are satelloons. And, I really, truly believe that. We don't have the evidence except for CGI for anything else. And I think they've perfected these balloons, and they can, how high can they go up? I think they can just, they can float really high. Um, what is it? A surveillance balloon is over 80,000 feet, which is 24 kilometers. We NASA has admitted that they have never left lower Earth orbit. Okay, and all this with the moon when it started, when I opened up the garage door, and I'm just praying all the time for Richard, all the time, and I go out to the garage and I look at that moon and I'm thinking about what I was told. If they lie to us about the moon, then they lie to you, of course, about your son. And I opened up that garage door and there was the moon. Matter of fact, last night, I should have took a picture of it. The moon was huge, huge last night. I didn't look at it tonight yet, but it was so big. And that day, it was daytime when I opened up the garage. And there was this big moon right in front of me. I mean, it was like God just placed it right there. It wasn't a total full moon. Almost, but not quite. And it was right in front of me. There was no getting away from seeing it. It was amazing. And I remembered what I was told. If they lie to us about our moon, then of course they lie to you about your son. They, who are they? Who are they? These guys. These guys right here. Okay? We have Space Force right now. We have an Air Force. We have a Navy. We have a military. We have missiles. We have stealth bombers. We have all kinds of incredible different flying planes that do different things, and missiles and all that. These guys, and I should say gals, these traitors, and they are traitors. I think they're demons. They have been turned into, maybe once upon a time they were beautiful elves, beautiful human beings that wanted to serve, and they've been twisted and turned and groomed, and Senate Arms Committee has liked how they were groomed, and they kept promoting them and putting them in our beautiful, beautiful uniforms with 4 stars. And of course they lie to us about our son because they're twisted. They serve foreign and domestic enemies instead of what they should be doing with loyalty and respect and duty and selfless service and honor and integrity and personal courage. That's what they're supposed to be all about. They're supposed to be about the Medal of Honor ethos. They're supposed to aspire and train for that esprit de corps, right? Leave no soldier behind. That's what they're supposed to do. Okay? And that's not what they're doing. They're grooming rapists and letting the rapists walk around in uniform. They're covering up for the rapists. They're telling the victims, "Oh, shut up. Oh, shut up." And then they go, "Oh, well, we need extra money because we need a program for our rape victims." Then they turn things that are entrusted to them, like the Article 15 tools that are entrusted to them, and they turn them into weapons, and they really continuously, severely retaliate against our service members, so that our suicide numbers are really high, right? are suicide. And I'm not saying you can't be tough, but this is for different reasons. This is for this is like Animal House or Animal Farm, whatever you want to call it, and then retaliating again. It's so abusive. And then you have a suicide problem, and then with these 4 stars, well, demons wearing the 4 stars, our beautiful 4 stars that we give everything to, what they do is they go, oh, now we need a suicide prevention program. Oh, we need to have a PTSD. We need to build a special like hospital just to investigate all of the mental health that we have created. Yeah, that was so much fun. But no, oh, we got to be serious. Poor service members with the PTSD. But hurry up. Get on that plane and go down to and war against Russia, war against China. Okay, they're our enemies. It's the most, or Syria, or Iraq, or Afghanistan. It is the most evil, treasonous, traitorous thing that these monsters are doing to our volunteer sons and daughters, to our country. And we go, thank you for your service. And they're like, I don't know. It's like evil demons. And I didn't make this picture. If I'm getting it, because see, Richard's, if I'm, I don't have a big staff. I don't have top secret clearance to certain intelligence or anything like that. I don't have the ability to order Borstar or Bortac to help find my son. I don't have hundreds, maybe thousands of service members at my will, at my whim. I do not have special equipment, night vision goggles to lose in Afghanistan, to leave behind that technology to give it away. I don't have that. I don't have all of the things that these creatures here have at their fingertips. And you know what? We found out who the father-in-law was that walked into that Dollar General. We called the Department of State, and we're the ones that asked, hey, were the FBI looking for Richard's remains in Juarez? Oh, yeah. They were here looking for Richard's remains in Juarez. We found out who the young female, the young mother is that connected with Richard the day that he went missing. We found out about the Child Protective Service complaints. We found out about the problem with the porn videos and Richard turning in those porn videos. We found out about Anthony Swafford being in a military police. We found out that the father-in-law was the father-in-law to Lieutenant Colonel Bugado in the G3 of the 32nd ATCOM. Shock. And we found out about his record. We found out about Tavita Nusa via the report and the very courageous Judge Roger Rodriguez. We found out about Leilani Hart, and we found out about First Lieutenant Dallas Hart. We found out about them, and people went a little bit nutso when that happened. So we found out about the blue truck with the shaved handles. We still don't know the exact location of the Farnsworth Ranch. We don't. But we found out about how the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, how they are involved in this case. We found out about certain other locations. We found out about these vile, vulgar messages that were being sent to our hotline via burner phones, and we traced those burner phones. We learned how to do it. We turned that in. Very interesting. One of them is a very, 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 very important government building, people's building. Um, and we've heard crickets with that. We found out about our liaison uh, being a traitor. We found out who Corinne Adeline West is. We found out about Gratitude West. We're still trying to find that one out. If you know anything about William Hobson, please tell him to call 941-677-0060. We found out about that. And we found out about the FBI informants. Okay? We found out about the asymmetric warfare tactics used against us, even by General McConville. Now, we found out about the PI. So we found out about Tanea, which when you're conned, it's so hurtful when someone can act that sweet and that nice and really is up to no good. It makes you cry. Someone that can be that deceptive, but you know what? Who is more deceptive? Those in those uniforms with those doggy masks right there. Right there. Those, they are so deceptive. They're rearing puppies by staying silent, not getting into the media about that. Why are they protecting this sex cult, this puppy cult in the military? Why are they, training to suicide our young sons and daughters? Why are they letting rapists wander around barracks? Why did they even allow the barracks to be co-ed when there's 9 men, biological men, to 1 woman in the military? Why are they allowing women to be in these combat roles when they have to keep body count? Right? Why are they letting the our installations and our ships be production house studios for porn and broadcasting the porn out there supporting child sex trafficking? Why are they plea dealing with murderers and then conducting a PSYOP smear campaign against the victims? Why are they doing that? And that is why when you look at Richard's case, 80 subpoenas and warrants, and Richard looks really good, y'all. He looks really good. He's a whistleblower. He cares about women. He cares about young mothers. He wants them to not be subjected to the sex industry. Okay? He's warning against it, but he's not bossy about it. He's very kind about it. He's like, I know that you don't have to listen to me, but I just have to say this. He's very kind. So he passed the 80 subpoenas and warrants with flying colors. We talked to another officer that he had to deal with, and she was like, he's so sweet. Oh my gosh, he was so sweet. He did everything he was supposed to do. I couldn't believe that he went missing. I'm just praying for him all the time. That's because he truly sacrificed himself for the sake of children, for the sake of this young mother, um, and for our military, for our country. That's why he went over and above and beyond, and the chain of command that was very, very bad. Look at them. Look at them sitting there. The army is becoming one big porn cult, grooming any unaware volunteer son and daughter that thinks that they're joining to defend the Constitution or to get some mentoring. These are very, very evil dogs that are wearing those beautiful uniforms with 4 stars on them. And they have desecrated the military, those uniforms, every award they're wearing, they've desecrated. And we're talking about the world. We're in so many places around the world. This I cannot tell you what a huge national threat this is that they are to our country. And I think the Senate Arms Committee has a lot to answer for. But you see, when you get in those uniforms, you have a lot of power and you could do the right thing. And they didn't. They didn't. And there's 44 of them. Okay? So our military there should be no problem knowing where Richard is with all of their radar technology, their satelloons, with all of their equipment, with all of their money. Instead of putting those billions of dollars towards lockstepping so many, not just in the military. Of course, in the military, that was total tyranny. But they contracted out with the likes of CVS and Walgreens and these tests and everything to get that out there, whatever purpose these Cobra strikes are, they wanted them out there for the sake of pharmaceutical companies' bottom line, and more and more. I think it's numerous things, and they spent so much time and so much energy and so much of our money doing that. And here we are, Find Richard Halliday, and we don't have a big, endless budget. We don't have a big staff. We don't have the weapons and the tools and the manpower, the service members to search for our son. And yet we found it all out. And you know what we learned? They knew it all. They knew it all before we even knew Richard was missing. And they're just so bold and so used to doing this that the command sergeant major thought it would be okay to con us even more. Con us even more by saying he didn't even know he had a missing soldier on his rolls. So it wasn't enough to watch us be conned by Danae and be conned by McConnville, or be treated so badly by doomsday warmouth. Flipping off the senator, just flipping off the senator that had very good questions. And I'll be grateful, forever grateful, um, to Senator Cruz for that. I don't know if I'll be totally loyal, but I'll be grateful, um, because he could do more. He could do more, much, much more. And I write him, and he never responds back. They flick us off. Not even, ma'am, we're praying for you. Not even that. They don't care. Yeah, they do not care about our service members. They are in, matter of fact, they are the complete opposite. They are in destruction mode. They have a plan to destroy our military. Look at them sitting there. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it to watch the porn that you produce and the rapes that you produce and the mass murders and the very brutal murders? Because, see, the leader is accountable for what happens. Where did we lose that at? Where did we lose that? You know, I have to stand in front of God, and I will be judged about how I raised my children. I will be judged. And God's judgment is just and true and gracious. And so I'll stand in front of him. And these creatures that are wearing our uniforms with 4 stars, they will be judged also for the murders, for plea dealing to side with Byron Booker and Jordan Brown. Don't tell me that they, with all the evidence that they had, they couldn't get a guilty on those 2. They don't want people being held accountable. They don't want the soldiers and the service members and their family members to know that they have their 6. No, they kick them all in the teeth. Right there. Kick them in the teeth and make a plea deal. That was, you understand what they did with that plea deal. They green-lighted other murderers. You understand that? It's very clear to me, because we can't get an official answer to, did the FBI find Richard in uniform in Juarez, Mexico, and are they hiding his remains? Because they were looking for his remains. Okay? The Department of State said, yes, the FBI were looking for Richard's remains. His remains. They weren't looking for a live Richard. And that dawned on me. And that's why behind the scenes we are working on the fact that they knew everything. They know Richard wasn't coming back. That it was Richard's remains that were out there somewhere, not Richard. And if we are floating names, if we are that close, you know they know. Because they have the phone records. They have the cloud records. They have the Google records, 80 subpoenas and warrants. And they don't have the love, and you might laugh at that, but love is the greatest thing. And we are getting close to Valentine's Day, and people oh, that's pagan or whatever. No, no, y'all. Love is the greatest thing. And without love, we are nothing. We are nothing without love. Because love is a fulfillment of God's law word. You know, loyalty, duty, honor, integrity, respect, personal courage, selfless service, the Medal of Honor ethos, the esprit de corps. That's love. And they just don't have it. They don't have it. They don't care about that young mother that Richard cared about. They don't care about Austin Hawke. They don't care about Enrique. They put him in cold case so quick, y'all. I am so ashamed. It's so sad. Because at the end of the day, we have responsibility too, because we didn't check these senators in the Senate Arms Committee who promoted these demons. We trust them to do a job. We don't check these law enforcement agencies. We don't check the judges to make sure they're not paid off. And we want our money. And you know, there's only 3 real ways to get money. And that is to work for it, to inherit it, or to steal it. And stealing money is very, very popular. Legalized theft, larceny of the heart is very popular. Very popular. So we've got to, confession is a cure of souls. And repentance is walking a new way, a better way, God's way. And when I'm looking at these uniforms and they're being desecrated, because without a military, we're nothing. Okay? I mean, even God sends his hosts, right? God has his hosts. He has his army. He has his hosts and his army. Even the devil, doesn't it say that Satan, he fell with 1/3 of the angels? Has his army. All right? So, the United States needs a defense. And we don't have that right now. We have traitors that have committed treason, that have committed crimes against humanity, just for starters. And we live in this false reality. We've been lied to so much that we have to now review our own truths and see if they're real. I think we're living in the Matrix, because the moon is not a rock. The moon is not solid. I can tell you that right now. I've been looking at it. It is not solid. There's no China landing on the dark side of the moon and building some kind of installation, moon base with missiles pointing down. There's no NASA. building anything, landing on it, nothing, because it's not solid. It's not happening. It didn't happen. It's a lie. And Satelloons are real. We just witnessed that. Satelloons are real. We just witnessed that. Did it have Find Richard Halliday on it? These are real. And they're high up. And I think this one had some problems, and it kind of came down low, low enough for some people in Montana to see it. And they were like, okay, we don't want people to know that it is ours. And then this narrative of the Chinese spy, I just don't buy it. I might be wrong. You have to check me. But I don't buy it, because if it was Chinese, why would they let it transverse across our entire country? And why would they? I mean, they know how to slowly deflate these balloons with this heavy equipment on it. They know, because there's so many. They've been working on it for years and years. They know about these, okay? It's all over. You can find videos about it all over. They know how to deflate this and bring it down slowly so it wouldn't hurt anybody. Why did they want to use this overpowered plane with an overpowered missile to shoot down a balloon over water? So that, the salt water, and now it's so deep, and it's been damaged, and whatever. They are just so bad. They're just up to so bad. They're just so bad. They don't want the truth to get out, because the truth is so wonderful. And since we have so much information on Richard, and we do need a law enforcement agency, or just an oversight agency to care, to show some love for our son, for our family, to get to the bottom of this, to give us back our son. It's so big. But it did bring a lot of truth to Find Richard Halliday. It brought a lot of truth, because I went over to Juarez so many times with my husband, and we were okay. We didn't have to fear. They lie. Oh my gosh, they lied to us. We didn't have to stand 6 feet away from each other. We never did that. We never did that. And we understand that our military leadership has created a military that is just not defending the Constitution. It's a demolition job of our military. So, and everything is so psychological, manipulated, that you have 2 3-star generals totally manipulated mentally, and even 1-stars. I looked at David Stewart at that last meeting, and I thought, God help that man. God help that man. God help that man's family. He has a nice wife with daughters. God help him. He is being so twisted and turned into one of those demons. I watched it in front of my eyes. Yeah. So we'll see. The next few days, we are expecting more information. pray that we get it. We did find out about months ago, about a half a year ago, they found a dead body. There was a dead body there in El Paso, and we did find out who that was. They kept it very, very quiet. They kept that out of the media. They wouldn't release it, but we did find out who it was. And so sometimes it just takes timing, right? God's timing. And I'm not going to release the name, of course I'm not, but everything is God's timing. And since we have I just feel like there are some things that we don't know that need to be revealed. I don't know. And I'll be patient. I'm not in control of this. I'm just fighting to keep Richard's case out there. So please share. Because if we can win this, we're winning it for Austin Hawk. We're winning it for Vanessa Guillen. We're winning it for Gregory Morales. We're winning it for Enrique Roman Martinez. We're winning it for Elder Fernandez. We are winning it for Caleb Smither. That's, you see, it will have an effect because it has to do with the corruption of our agencies, the corruption within our military, and they need to be held accountable. So if we can have some victory in this and find out what happened to Richard and have it a public, it will be the start of the healing of the military. Confession is the cure of souls. And those that are experiencing body count right now, I'm praying for you. I'm praying for you. You've been so lied to. Those that are victims of this porn cult, victims of the marketplace for illegal drugs, like Asia Graham, died of a fentanyl-laced medication after being raped. A victory for Richard is a victory for Asia Graham. I believe that. Because this is about drugs, this is about child sex trafficking, it's about child porn. We know child porn is involved in this now. We know that this is about illegal activity going back and forth over the border. That's why this is so political. And this is about young mothers. So keep praying for us. I'm going to answer any questions now. And everybody can hear me today better, I hope. Let's see what we have here. 4 comments. Danielle, thank you so much, Danielle, for always coming on. They would still be publishing awareness about Richard Halliday's disappearance if they wanted to find Richard Halliday, in my opinion. They know, in my opinion, it's clear to see silence is consent, right? They know. Everyone knows. Everyone that has kept up with this case knows by now that the military knows. They know. These guys know. Truth makes many argue with me. Evil is like a plague spreading and people act like the wrong ways are the good ways. Yeah, it's like opposite day, right? Truth, yeah, so truth. I've seen this also. It's sad what this world is becoming. Yeah, it is sad. It doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me laugh. It makes me cry. and we need to cry. It gives me the shivers, and it makes me cry and grieve for our country and our service members that are under these creatures wearing our uniforms. It makes me cry for them. And okay, there's a time to cry, and then you get up in the morning and you put on your boots and you put on your gloves and you get to work, and yeah, and don't forget about love and enjoying your family while you know, there's a time to work and there's a time that you need to we took 2 hours out and took this long hike yesterday, and it was so beautiful. And it's just, it reminds you what you're fighting for this land and for the people and our service members, and not just for this country, because what these demons have done is destroy other countries, okay? Other countries. So when I say crimes against humanity, it's just a starter. I'm absolutely serious. And the bell tolls. So this picture here is the State of the Union. Okay? This picture here, the doggy porn cult military, is the State of the Union. All right? That's all you need to know. And we need to do something about it. What have you done today? This is what Rob always asks. What have you done today to glorify God? What have you done? And so we need to work hard, and hopefully we'll get a hearing. Hopefully we'll start really campaigning against even our Congress and our Senate and the Senate Arms Committee, these leaderships, because this is our volunteer sons and daughters at risk, and their families. And their families. And there are really, really good service members that are being tortured and twisted and turned and groomed into becoming these doggy cult agreeers, participators, whatever. And yeah, it's like Darth Vader, right? Richard's captain, he channeled Darth Vader, and now I understand why. Here he was, a young man, and he has been groomed and twisted and turned, and now he channels Darth Vader. And that's what he does in his letter to the mother of one of his missing soldiers. He channels Darth Vader and points his finger at her. You know, I'll never forget that letter. I need to post that letter. It's been a while. I need to post that letter. Because Richard, after reading that letter, I was like, wow, Richard looks really, really good. Really, really good. I'm so proud of you, Richard. You're a saint. You're a hero. And I love you. Yep. Okay, everyone. I will be back tomorrow. One last, yeah. I'll be back tomorrow, God willing, and we'll talk more. God bless you. Please share. Share, share, share. And here's our number. We have a $150,000 reward for information leading to finding Richard. And this is information about Richard. pray for Richard. So 941-677-0060 is our number. All right, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you.